Punctuality is something I demand from my employees. I need them to show up on time. So when I finally show up, we can get started right away.
And get
Okay,
started
Carrot
right away
Top
is
is
what
back.
we'd.
Fantastic.
The clips never go away; they stay in my. But anyway, welcome to late night. And got a very fun episode today. We're doing adventure movies. I know I said last week we were talking about Star Wars, but I decided to move it a little bit later because I decided to do that because I can. So I'm the host. But anyway, I've got Matt here. Matt, how's it going?
This is so difficult because I forgot to put the link out. So if you just give me a second, I am doing well though. Excited to talk about one of my favorite I guess genres of film. Yeah, genres of film. Considering I'm one of the people who counts. I count adventure and action separately. I know some people for some reason like to count them together, and I'm not a fan of that. So I think that adventure and action. So I'm just rambling because I'm literally trying to talk while also tweet. So I'm just
It's right.
saying
It's right.
nonsense here.
It's right. I was using your rambling time, so I could actually put the link into the Take Three Facebook group at the same time. So I realised I didn't actually do
Yeah,
that myself.
we both screwed up on trying to market and trying to market this.
But with that being said, while Matt is doing that, as I like to do every week, is not going to start talking about action adventure straight away. We've got, but a small handful of news this time. There actually isn't a hell of a lot. But going to start off with everyone's favorite with box office. So the box office for last week is at number one we had Jungle Cruise with 34.2 million. At number two, The Green Knight and Old are both tied at the second place at 6.8 million. Black Widow, I misspelled it in my thing and put Black Window instead of Black Widow. And 6.4 million. And Stillwater, the new Matt Damon movie, came in at fifth place at 5.1 million. I mean, this is not too much surprising. I mean, Jungle Cruise was also on Premier Access, so I mean, of course, that's going to be low. And I think some theaters are starting to close up again because of the Delta variant around. So it's not as
Well, we
surprising.
just got demonetized. Well, good work, Malcolm.
But but Matt, what are your thoughts about the box office?
I was just finishing up the tweet. So you said what was number one?
Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, that's not shocking to me. I know it's on Premier Access, and believe me, I'm sure when we get into news, we'll talk about Premier Access. It's not shocking to me because and I know for myself, I've been having the debate of do I bite the bullet and pay Premier Access to watch it, or do I try to go out and see it? I've kind of decided to go on and try and see it, as it does seem, as the reason why we're talking about the topics tonight, it does seem like one of those adventure films that should be seen in a theater. And, I personally, I was a little bit too young to see like the original Pirates of the Caribbean, so to have the opportunity to see sort of like a Disney live action adventure film in theater would be kind of cool. So that being number one makes sense. Old, and what was tied with Old?
The Green Knight.
Yeah, the Green Knight. I've been seeing that on Twitter a lot. And Old is apparently a lot of people are liking it for an M Night movie. Black Widow, I mean, it's the only comic book movie out right now, so I don't think it's so much Premier Access. I think, when did it come out in theaters?
May.
It it's been out for a while, and I think especially with Jungle Cruise, it's like, well, now it makes sense. Yeah. So the box office seems pretty. Oh, and still, I mean, Matt Damon's a fairly bankable actor, despite the fact that, of some reason, he was in the news today. I saw that. We don't need to get into a conversation about. I've seen like short little like ads on YouTube for the movie. I don't really know what it's about. It seems like it looks like Matt Damon trying to do Taken. That's really what I've gathered from it, regardless if that is what the synopsis of the movie is, of which I'm going to be honest, I'm going to quote Tommy Lee Jones from Fugitive and say, I don't care. It makes sense. People like Matt Damon and people like Taken. So if it is Matt Damon's Taken, people will go and see it. Makes sense.
But we had a small amount of trailers that was actually released last week. We got the trailers for the Loud House movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife, King Richard, and Vivo. Did you watch any of these trailers, Matt?
What the fuck is Vivo?
It's a new animated musical thing that's on Netflix, going to be on Netflix.
Oh, no, I didn't watch that show. What was the first one you mentioned?
The Loud House movie.
Yeah, no, the only one I think I saw was Ghostbusters Afterlife. Of which I'll say, it looks like an interesting continuation of Ghostbusters. It looks to be taking itself very seriously, and I hope there. Okay, somehow, and I don't know this, Ghostbusters broke Twitter. Again, can someone explain this to me? Why Ghostbusters is the thing that breaks Twitter? Because, oh my lord, it was a fine trailer for a movie that looks fine. It just doesn't look that funny. Now, 100 people on one side have told us, oh, well, they don't want to give all the jokes away in the trailer and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I understand that. I get that is the difficulty of cutting a trailer for a comedy is you run the risk of that. But, and this is just me. Again, by the way, I like the trailer. I need to preference this. I didn't laugh once. I didn't laugh once. So, and again, that doesn't mean it means the movie's going to be bad. It definitely did the job of the trailer. It's intrigued me. I'm just hoping that it's a fun movie. Because the original Ghostbusters was fun. Yeah, it took Gozer seriously. There's the great scene between Winston and Ray to where they're talking about Judgment Day. But it's also a movie where Peter Venkman is interviewing a woman who saw ghosts and asks if she's menstruating. What does that got to do with anything? Back off, man. I'm a scientist. It's a fun, that's a big Twinkie. when Zool's talking to the horse, and dude's like, hey, if you want rides, talk to me. And he just growls and runs away, and the horse driver is like, what an asshole. It's a fucking fun movie. That's all I want. But for some undisclosed reason, and I tweeted about this, for some reason, film Twitter does this to where, not for everything, but for a few things, and once again, Ghostbusters being one of these things to where you are either in love with this or you hate this. And if you fall in the middle, the gray area, the love it side thinks you hate it, and the hate it side thinks you love it. So I was in the gray area, and it was just a fucking disaster. And guys, look, I love Ghostbusters. Literally had the poster hanging right next to my Rocky poster on my wall. I am looking at it right now. So, just trailers are meant to market the movie. And sometimes trailers can do it really well, and other times they can mismarket a movie. But at the end of the day, just fucking Ghostbusters, guys. Just let it go. All right. Continue on. Talk about another trailer because my lord. I just honestly can't believe Ghostbusters broke fucking Twitter again.
Because it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but dude, even the Last Jedi doesn't break Twitter like Ghostbusters apparently fucking does. Like, really? Ghostbusters? The movie where the Titanic makes port and Cheech Marin is like, better late than never. Like, that's the one that breaks it?
But I really loved the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. It looks like a fun. It looks like a fun
Did
movie.
I say you love it and you hate it? I'm kidding. No, I'm intrigued by it.
And it's one of those ones like the first Ghostbusters was supposed to be a comedy. I didn't laugh once in that. So
Yeah, you also have no heart. I think we are learning that.
did I say I hated the Ghostbusters movie?
No,
I
you said you didn't laugh.
I
And that's
didn't
'cause
laugh. I
How did
loved
you-
them.
Wait, time out here, Mal. How do you not laugh at several of the moments from Peter Venkman in that movie? You telling me you did not laugh at from Dickless over here? Is that true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick. Really?
No,
That did not elicit even the most childish laugh from you?
nope.
You
But
know,
anyway,
this reminds me of the time you tried to drill a hole in your head. That would have worked too if you didn't stop me, Peter. Oh, look at that! You just laughed. Are you telling me that when the actual funny people delivered those lines, you didn't laugh? I think you're lying. I think you're trying to be a hipster and you're trying to be cool and be like, I like Ghostbusters, but I didn't find it to be a funny movie. Well, it's not. I'll say this, and this is going to be the last thing. It's not a comedy in the way that, like, 21 Jump Street is a comedy. Or National Lampoon's Vacation. It's albeit it's an adventure film with a sort of scary edge and a comedy edge to it. You know, like Vacation, that's a movie that I think if you don't laugh at Vacation, I think it'd be very hard to say you like Vacation. The original we're talking about, not that Ed Helms crap.
I was about to say, it's like you laughed at
You
Chris
do not.
Hemsworth.
No, I facepalm the entire. I was like, my favorite comedy of all time is National Lampoon's European Vacation. So I just felt my like heart being crushed. It gave me a whole new appreciation for Vegas Vacation. I'll say that because I at least can laugh at that. Oh my god, that fucking Vacation.
But anyway,
Poor Christina
moving.
Applegate. She's so good, and so is Ed Helms. They're so much better than that.
But moving on to another trailer that really doesn't have any laughs in it because it's not supposed to. The other trailer which I actually do want to talk about is the King Richard trailer with Will Smith playing the father to Venus and Serena Williams.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. I heard people talk about it. I meant to watch it, but I didn't. What'd you think?
I think it's a movie for Will Smith to potentially get another Oscar nomination.
You think it's one of those Oscar baby
Well,
films?
it's definitely because I think it's going to be released around that time where most of those Oscar bait movies are coming out. But it looks like a good movie. I know there's a lot of debate on Twitter about that the father of Venus wasn't a good, nice person and all this. It's a movie. It's not. Yes.
I mean, is the trailer trying to portray him as a good person, or?
Well, it's. It's not put. It's. From what I understand, is it's definitely somewhat sanitized. Like most biopics are. Because let's face it. If you go into a biopic expecting to find out the exact true story of someone's life, you're not going to get that.
No, but yeah. Well, look, biopics are in many ways they're historical movies, and I've always said I feel like most historical movies, albeit films like say Braveheart or something, I look at them like book adaptations. Like you're taking characters and moments, and you're kind of just trying to, you might take two characters and form them into one or something to just kind of make a good movie. You're not. Will Smith and company are not attempting to say this is the 100% true fact of what happened, because that's what documentaries are for, not movies. And even documentaries sometimes make shit up. So
well, that's things like because I know for King Richard, like Van Serena are on as producers of this. So,
I was going to ask, do they have any involvement in it?
well, I mean, I think
Okay.
it's one of those ones like for any biopic, like any family member of the real person that is alive and they're getting stuff from. I think they're going to put them on as a producer, giving them a producer credit
Now,
because
whether or not they
that's,
do anything with that producer
yeah, well,
credit is
exactly.
because that happens. So yeah, I mean,
And
that
I
just
mean,
look at Batman Forever. Tim Burton's a producer of that film. Tim Burton didn't do shit for that movie.
but yeah, I mean, I mean, but like they're going to say is like they're going to say if there's bits of his life they do not want to put portrayed on screen, and that's fine. Like they don't have to show like if he was into hard drugs or a whole bunch of other stuff that they don't want seen on screen.
Hmm.
And I mean, whether or not that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But that being said, it's the family's wishes, and you don't go against the family's wishes. Otherwise, the movie doesn't get made. End of story.
You know why, Malcolm? You know why you never go against family's wishes? Because family, it's like the most important thing. It's like if family says don't do that, why would you do that? Because it's family. Also, I was thinking of Godfather. No, go against the family, Fredo. Or was that Sonny who says don't go against family? The fuck was that? Was it Michael or Sonny? I can't remember now. Son of a bitch. Tell us in the comments. Was it Sonny or Mike? Because obviously Michael has the moment with Fredo where it's like, I knew it's you, Fredo. You broke my heart. But now I'm trying to think. Is it Sonny in the first movie he talks about? Or is
But
it Vito? Son of a bitch. Which one of the Dons was it? Vito, Sonny, or Michael?
but anyway, moving on. We do have a bunch of news come out. I'll get a whole bunch of the smaller stuff out before we get into the big one. That I'm not going to. I mean, most people know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about big one. I will get to that later. But
you could
so
say it's the premiere story, I guess.
yeah. But
you see what you did there? Play on words.
But the other sort of smaller news that we've got is Netflix is doing a live action Pokemon series.
The fuck?
There's a TV series in the works called the USA versus Vince McMahon. I think it's from what I remember when I read about this, it's about a '90s steroid scandal that that Vince had, which is going to be adapted into a TV series apparently. Daniel Bozeman has revealed he's got an offer to direct a video game movie. That's as much as he said. He didn't sort of go in detail on that.
Mm.
Tiffany Haddish and Lakeith Stanfield are in talks for the Haunted Mansion reboot. DreamWorks has announced the cast for the new animated movie called The Bad Guys, and it includes Sam Rockwell, Aquafina, Mark Maron, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos, Richard Ayoade, Zazie Beetz, Lily Singh, and Alex Borstein. And J.K. Simmons is in talks to return as Commissioner Gordon in Batgirl. But Matt, any of these news which sort of speak to you?
J.K. Simmons coming back would be pretty cool. I know he only had like 2 scenes in Justice League, but I liked him. He was a different kind of Gordon, but then again, he didn't really have a lot of time, so it'd be interesting. It would be nice to sort of have the connections between Batgirl and the sort of DC, because the DCU, honestly, it's like, are they completely rebooting it? Are they going to try to stick with it? Like, what's happening? So it'd be nice to have something like that. Yeah. Some of the other stories, there were quite a few, and my brain is just not working right now. I mean, Yeah, no, not really the only one that sticks out to me. I'm sorry.
It's alright. I mean, it's. I mean, yeah, like J.K. Simmons coming back as Commissioner Gordon is. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one because I have no idea where the DCU is going because you've got this new Batman movie that's coming out, which is not connected to DCU.
Well, the Batman movie, it's like Joker. That's the thing. It's like Joker.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going with, but it's one of those ones like because I always assume that the DCU as we know it is probably not going to last too much longer.
Unfortunately, but
And it's partly because I think because by casting J.K. Simmons in Batgirl, and he's only in talks at the moment.
mhm.
But it's also one of those ones you're going to have the Snyder fanboys the back with like, oh, the Snyderverse is continuing, because and all that, which is not the case. But it's bound to happen. But to me, it's a weird one because, like as I said, it was only last week that they announced who's playing Batgirl, and that's Leslie Grace. I don't think the ethnicities match. So and if they keep the origin that Barbara Gordon is going to be related to Jim Gordon,
Well,
then
in the movies, Batgirl has not been related. She was related to Alfred Pennyworth. So,
well,
yeah.
I was talking about if they go by the comic origin or if they create the movie origin. But even then, Leslie Grace is
Malcolm,
not the same year.
but mixed race kids exist, Malcolm.
Well, yeah, but it's one of those ones that they would have to cast the mixed race mother anyway. That's kind of what I'm
If the
getting
mother
at.
plays a role, let's be honest. I'm sorry, but in a lot of the comics, Jim Gordon's wife she's kind of just like this off-sided character. I know she's in one scene in Batman Begins, and she's in like a few scenes in Dark Knight, but she's not really that big. I think the biggest thing, and again, maybe this is just my own knowledge of the Batman. I feel like the biggest thing that a wife of Jim Gordon has been a part of has been Gotham. Like that's been like the biggest thing to where, and that's not even the mother of Barbara Gordon in that show. But
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those ones like I know mixed race kids exist. It's still weird to me for that reason. But if it happens,
whoa, you might want to
no,
rephrase that. You get the video of Elliot digging her own grave from Scrubs. I think just go to a clip. Just put a random clip on. Just bury it, Malcolm. You'll be fine. Fuck. Hashtag cancel Malcolm.
Why, thank you.
There we go. Yeah,
you see,
what
put
are
a
we
random
talking
clip on,
about?
so I did.
Yeah, there we go. I don't even
But
know what we're talking about.
anyway,
You might be canceled. Cool.
they can try. But anyway,
That
but anyway, the
sounds
other
like a
one I was
vague
going to talk
threat,
about.
sir. Sorry.
But the other thing I was going to talk about is that the cast for this new DreamWorks movie is a really interesting bunch of cast. We've got like Oscars like Sam Rockwell, you got Aquafina, you got Mark Maron, and then you've got like Lily Singh, who I think is some YouTube person. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, couldn't
And then you've
cast
got,
one of us in the movie, huh? DreamWorks. We got over a
but I
thousand
mean,
subs.
I don't know much else about what this movie is about, but it sounds interesting. But just by the cast, and I mean, it can't be any worse than Turbo. That's for sure.
I suppose.
But the big news is what I'm going to get to is so Scarlett Johansson is attempting is suing Disney, and this is I have no idea how this is going to go and I think I have read that there's talks about Emma Stone and maybe Emily Blunt jumping in on this as well. Those ones aren't quite confirmed as of yet, but basically, what's the case is I think, from what I understand, is ScarJo's not happy with Disney because of them putting it on Premier Access, but without them renegotiating the contract so they get money from it. Because as far as I know, they're only getting money from the theatrical release. And
yeah, it seems, and again, I've done the most minimal reading on this as possible, so correct me as you go. What it seems like is that Scarlett Johansson, which is this happens a lot with actors in big franchises, when negotiating their deal and their pay, it seems like she might have taken a lower pay cut because they were giving her back end on the movie, which happens sometimes to where it's like, you'll get whatever X amount percentage of whatever the movie does in theaters. So it going to Premiere Access obviously is going to diminish the possibility of,
yeah,
it seems like a messy situation. It seems like, I believe she's suing them on the grounds of breaching contract. Now, does that mean in her contract they said they weren't going to do Premiere Access or a Disney Plus release?
well, I mean, it's one of those ones because her contract would have been done when she first joined the MCU. I don't know if, and there was
No, I feel like they renegotiate the contracts for.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Like
if they, because I think that's also the case. So I think they didn't reach out to renegotiate the contracts when the possibility of Premier Access became a thing, and I think that's where this whole heat is.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I think that it's going to end up that Disney's going to settle out of court because there's no way Disney wants us to go to court.
No. Also, The Rock, I believe I saw today. I think it was Hollywood Reporter or something. He commented on this. I believe I saw that today. Am I mistaken about that?
But yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting situation. I mean, I believe that Jungle Cruise, as of this moment, whether they change it later depending on further advancements in pandemic reasons and stuff. As far as I know, the Jungle Cruise is the last movie that's slated for a Premier Access dual theatre release. The other Marvel movies, as of now, are not. I know Free Guy is a shortened theatrical window that's going to Disney Plus, shortened.
The whole thing is, it's a strange. It's a strange thing, and this is a thing of like social media of like, we just have so much access that like, look, this stuff has been happening since like the advent of home video. Like this whole thing of like, well, when my movie goes to VHS, how much of a cut am I making? Like, it's just, I think they're going to settle court too. I don't think Disney's going to try to drag this through the mud and go to court to prove a point. Yeah, if I'm remembering the article with Dwayne Johnson, he kind of sided with Disney about doing Premiere Access. Which, I mean, people are kind of dragging him through the mud, and it's like, I mean, one, he's probably not trying to get Disney pissed off at him, and two, you know what? If that is his opinion, I mean, he is technically able to have that opinion. You can disagree with him all you want, but.
Well, I mean, the thing is, no one is saying that Premier Access is wrong, but it's just one of those ones, especially in this day and age where, because I know Warner Brothers got a lot of heat for their decision to do theatre and release at the same time, and this is the first time that we've had a lot of movies doing these dual type of hybrid releases, and I think going forward, I think Disney's going to make sure that every other contract that they've signed is got that clause that they get money from the Premier Access as well as theatre.
Yeah, and if the agents or the actors when they're negotiating their contracts. I think Premier Access, like Disney Plus, is definitely going to have to play a role in it, because as of right now, I mean, look, even let's just live in the magical world to where everyone's vaccinated and we've kind of able to suppress COVID to a point to where the world can sort of open up to new normal. Let's be honest, HBO back, HBO Max, Disney Plus and stuff, it's not going to disappear, because you have these people who they over almost 2 years now, they've just grown accustomed to going to see a movie, in the comfort of their home. And I mean, and because there have been people who, wait on movies because they don't like going to the theater for a number of reasons. So they like to wait, and now, now you have people who normally would wait until Jungle Cruise came to streaming, like on demand, or came to physical media or something, and now they can watch it in the comfort of their own home right away. So it's going to be interesting to sort of see the world of movies and everything. That's all stuff that Malcolm and I are not actors or agents in Hollywood, so we're not going to be privy to this stuff unless stories like this come out again. It's
Yeah, and I mean it's one of those ones, like, as far as I know at this stage, these hybrid releases are only go especially if HBO Max, that's only to the end of the year, because they haven't announced if they're going to continue on it next year. I think it's going to depend on how it's helped them. And as I said just before, I think Jungle Cruise is going to be the last. Is that as of now? I think it's the last one that's slated for a hybrid. I know Free Guy is going shorter theatrical window and then going to Disney Plus after that. Um, so I mean, the other thing in this is Disney really dug themselves a big hole with their response, just trying to go, oh,
hide behind the
it's because of the whole
pandemic.
pandemic. It's like,
That is a company. Look, let's Disney. We can sit here and say, "Oh, da da da, magic." They're a freaking company, and the unfortunate thing is, look, I took classes in college about PR. This is just trying to spin doctor stuff. This is trying to go, okay, we're in the doghouse. Think about the children. The pandemic, Scarlet. I mean, you're seeing
oh,
that on Twitter anyway. You're
yeah,
seeing people being like, "Oh, Scarlet," all these like millionaire actors complaining because they didn't get as much money as they should. And it's like, I mean, look, you're not wrong, but also that's their job and that's how they make a living. I know myself, if let's say I just got a raise at my job, if a month later, for whatever reason, without telling me, they decided to, I don't know, start making money off of my post, to like, if a post gets like 20 likes, they get like $50, and I don't get a cut of that, and they don't tell me, it's like, man, I wish I would have known. I mean, I don't have a contract to negotiate, and I don't know where I'm going with this point, but it's how you make it. It sounds crazy because, believe me, and I understand, people in Hollywood. Yes, Scarlett Johansson has more money right now in her bank account than probably Malcolm and I's bank accounts for the rest of our lives combined is. But, everybody, wants more money because money is how the world runs. Everyone wants more of it. Especially if they think they're due it, especially if they think they're rightfully due it and their contract was breached.
yeah. But this is going to be a further development story. Like, if anything else breaks, there will probably be talk more about this again.
This is
But
a developing story. We're not quite sure where it's going, but we will keep you updated as the story continues to break. Now we're going to Frank with the weather. Frank, how's it looking out there? Well, I tell you guys, this is a scorcher out here. Okay, it's like a jungle cruise. I'm out here on the beach, and I hope it ain't the beach from mold, because my own face can't take turning old. Oh, Malcolm, that old Frank out there.
I mean,
I watched Morning Glory last night with Harrison Ford, so that's on my mind. Although he wasn't as nearly into it. I'm sorry, a more accurate description would be we're going to continue to
Morning
fucking
Glory
find
is
out.
Morning
That
is
is a
a
good
good
movie.
great
I
movie.
liked it. No, it was a good movie.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely wasn't the first lawsuit of the year because there was a whole legendary HBO Max thing earlier. Over Dune.
We could just continue on to the next stories or whatever. I
Well,
feel like we've sat on this topic for a long time.
I mean, it was probably about 5 minutes, but
You know what, Malcolm? We spent more time on this than I think Disney's PR people spent thinking about their response to it. They were like, "Oh shit, people are pissed about premiere access." Oh, fucking say something about the pandemic. Okay.
But anyway, but moving on, I mean,
They
I
just have
decided.
a dartboard of responses, and since COVID, it's just been the whole dartboard is just pandemic. So it's like pandemic. Oh, PR,
Yeah.
beautiful bastards.
But with that being said, we're going to move on to the next topic of adventure movies. But Matt, what are some of your favorite adventure movies?
Yeah, my dumbass meant to make a list, but I forgot what the topic was before I hopped on here. Yeah, so my favorite adventure film of all time is obviously Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's the best. It does everything incredibly well. It has a great story that lends itself to action sequences, and the sequences are all incredibly fun. And you have a great main character in the world, Indiana Jones, obviously, and it's awesome. Other adventure films I like are, excuse me, adventure. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just need Google to jog my memory of movies that I like. Three Musketeers from 1993 is definitely one of my favorite adventure movies. I think that movie is so much fun. I think that you look at, I don't know, just that cast. You have Kiefer Sutherland and Chris O'Donnell and Charlie Sheen and Oliver Platt and Tim Curry and Rebecca De Mornay. It's just a fun movie that you can put on at any time of the week. Other ones that are adventure films are, I don't know, Malcolm, just start talking. Oh, Master Zorro and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves are also two other great ones.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, this is one that I've been sort of. I was just looking at various lists of adventure movies. Like, for me, my favorite adventure movies is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Those are fantasy movies, Malcolm.
Hey, according to this list of adventure movies that I'm looking at, they're Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, what,
They
from Ralph's
classed as
movie
adventure
blog?
movies.
From Ralph's.
Um,
Let's IMDb it and see what they say. You can continue talking about it while I
I
do.
mean, you can still get fantasy movies that are adventure as well. So,
Yeah, but this is my problem when people. And it's not your fault, believe me. It's more me. I just always hate. And again, yeah, the Lord of the Rings movies can sort of. I mean, it depends on what you think of. Like, if you believe an adventure must have a quest to be completed, then yes, Lord of the Rings does fall into that. I don't really always totally transcribe to that notion that it needs to be quest related. Uh, I get why, but I just always hate when they slap two genres because it feels like it just feels cheapening. Like, oh, it's not a fantasy movie; it's a fantasy adventure movie. It's like, why the fuck can't it just be a fantasy movie? Like, why
because I mean,
does it have to be fantasy dot 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 sci-fi dot? Just fucking be sci-fi, be fantasy. Why don't we just have these genres that are just all encompassing of a bunch of different movies? I know it's fascinating,
but yeah, but I
so
mean,
Lord of the Rings.
it's one of those. Yeah, I mean, what I was about to say, if you're going to argue semantics, like, I personally don't count Raiders as adventure movies.
How the fuck is Raiders of the Lost Ark not an adventure movie? It is literally a quest-based movie. He is trying to find the Ark. But continue. Give me your points so I can rebut them and put you in your place, Malcolm.
I've always thought of them as action movies.
Okay, and maybe we can have this discussion about what makes an action movie, what makes an adventure movie, because to me, an action movie is something like Speed or Die Hard. Like, those are movies to where what is driving the plot is the action, in a way. To where an adventure movie, there is a quest, or there's a mystical element, or there's something. It's not just action. Obviously, action does happen within it. And also, I feel like adventure movies, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this is just my own feeling, they're also kind of more classic movies. You know, like Raiders of the Lost Ark takes place in the 30s. Mask of Zorro takes place in the 1800s. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves takes place in Old English times. Whereas action movies are normally current day movies. You know, like Die Hard took place in 1988. That's when it came out. Speed took place in 1994. You know, the Lethal Weapon movies took place in the periods of time that the different films were released. That's also something I kind of feel like. I just kind of feel like there's more a classic sort of feeling to the movies, you know, even going all the way back to like Errol Flynn, you know, with The Adventures of Robin Hood. That was not a movie that was taking place in 1938. That's just me. And you're wrong about Raiders, but it's fine. It's okay to be wrong.
But
I also like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's also a fun one. I like that movie a lot. What? You got a problem with me at Scotland? Is that your fucking problem, Malcolm? I thought it was a great movie. So good, though, I decided to pretty much fucking retire from acting after it.
I'll bet.
How many times does action they're separate? They're usually a combo. Well, yes, but I like to separate. Like, okay, I like to separate them personally. I just feel, because I think, and this is maybe just the action movies I watch and the ones I like, I get a different feeling from watching, say, Rambo First Blood Part 2 from watching Mask of Zorro. Like, I feel different. Like, when I watch Mask of Zorro, yeah, it's cool to see Antonio Banderas take on, like, a couple of dudes in a sword fight. But when you watch Rambo First Blood Part 2, you're putting that on so you can see Sylvester Stallone shirtless running around just gunning down an army of people. Or Commando, you know. Well, I, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I literally am a fucking commando. And there's an army, and I kill them all. I do it all. And then save the little girl from Who's the Boss. It's just so fucking incredible. Do you like that movie, Malcolm? I think it is an incredible movie.
I mean, I like putting that movie on when I'm trying to sleep.
Oh, you're a fucking asshole. Okay, and guess what? Lord of the Rings, those movies fucking suck. If I was in those movies, I would have taken the ring and I would have shoved it down the throat of the volcano in the first movie. Okay? I would have taken no shit from any of those stupid dogs.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Oh, look at that. You don't like my movie so much. You're just throwing random fucking clips at it. You took it off before I could read it. I'll just go to my YouTube chat. It's fine. I have ADD, so it's hard for me to. Oh, there we go. There's comments. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's
yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Look. I'm just an asshole. Let's say that. Most people put action adventure and say, well, I'm just a dick who has to separate them, okay? By the way, Malcolm, this episode of Rank of action movie. You seen Die Hard? You seen Die Hard too, But have you seen Die Hard with a Vengeance? Now available on Blu-ray.
No, it's
Not that.
it's brought to you by the Brokenwood Mysteries, a TV show Matt's probably not heard of because it's a New Zealand TV show.
You know what, Nathan? That's just presumptuous right there. I mean, I haven't heard about that, but there's a lot of TV shows I haven't heard of.
But yeah, I have no idea where we go with this.
I mean, we can just keep talking about cool adventure movies. Like I said, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I know a lot of people hate that movie. I really like that movie. I think it's a fun movie. I do think it could have done with a couple more action sequences, but overall, super fun movie. I would throw The Shadow with Alec Baldwin in there as an adventure film. It's a comic book movie, but you know, comic book. It's still. I feel like it's a cool adventure. Have you ever seen it?
I've never even heard of it.
The Shadow. You don't know?
Never heard of it. I've never heard of it.
You don't know what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. You should. The Shadow is a great. It's based off of. Well, it was at first it was radio dramas, and then later on it was formed into comic books. But it's about Lamont Cranston, who became this sort of opioid like drug lord after World War One. And in the middle of the night, he gets stolen by this sort of monk guy who sort of forces him, because of the dark deeds he's done, to sort of train him to become this hero, to become the Shadow. And he goes back to New York City. I believe it's the 30s or the 40s. I want to say it's the early 30s. But I could be wrong. Could be the 40s. And essentially, he's this figure that he appears as a shadow. He's invisible. And it's said that he knows evil that lurks in the hearts of men. And he's able to sort of control men's minds and sort of look into someone. Penelope Ann Miller is in it as the daughter of a scientist who kind of goes missing. And the villain in the movie is the last living relative of Genghis Khan. And he has the power of mind control. And so it's up to Lamont to sort of use his powers to sort of fight against Khan. And it's a really great, fun movie. Really good. Tim Curry's in it. Ian McKellen is in it. I forget who plays his uncle as a police commissioner, but he's great in it. Peter Boyle is in it. It's a really fun movie. It's from '94. I would suggest checking it out if you can.
But yeah, like other ones that
Shadow knows.
I was thinking about while talking about this is the Jumanji series I consider adventure movies. I think they're great.
Only seen the Robin Williams movie. I have not seen any of the ones with The Rock.
You're missing out.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where they came out and like I remember I followed Karen Gillian on the socials and I saw pictures and I was like, I should probably see this movie. And I just never got around to seeing them. But looking here, I would throw Jurassic Park more in the action than adventure, but an argument could be. I'm literally just looking at what Google is telling me. I mean, we should talk about the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I feel like that's one of the great adventure films as well. Just such a fun movie. Johnny Depp just doing whatever the hell he was doing. It's just a fun movie to throw on, I think. Obviously, it became a much bigger thing, but I think that first movie, it's just like the definition of just like fun filmmaking. Going along with that, I saw for the first time earlier this week, I saw Romancing the Stone. That's another great adventure movie. I would throw in that. I thought that was just a really wonderful, like, again, it sounds stupid when I have to give a review of a film and just say it was fun, but like, I don't know. I kind of miss, like, because nowadays it feels like every movie is like a franchise starter, or it's a part of a pre-existing IP, or it's something. Oh, it's got to be, it's got to be deep, and I love Man of Steel, but like Man studio, it's dig deep into the shit. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean, Romance and Stone. They're just like, yeah, we're just gonna make these fun movies, and people are just gonna watch them, and they can just have a good time, relax, pop some popcorn, have a soda, and just like enjoy film. And I just feel like that is something that I don't think we could ever get another Romance in the Stone. Like everything has to be, and unfortunately, even look at Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise, like Pirates of the Caribbean, is based off of a pre-existing thing. Like, and I know Romance in the Stone was a book before it got turned into a movie, but I don't know. I just want. That's why I've heard mixed things about Jungle Cruise. I'm trying to go in with a very open mind because I am looking very forward to the movie, and I want to just want to have a fun time. Like I just want to sit down with my soda because I usually don't get food when I go to the theater, but I like to get a soda or an icy if I'm feeling up to it, and just kind of like have fun. Like remember we could do that. Remember you could just have fun with movies. And you didn't have to sit there thinking about, oh, this scene is clearly trying to introduce an idea about what will be in Avengers 97. No, you just fucking have fun with a movie and just be done.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll hear all about Jungle Cruise today, because I believe our very own Abe Flores is on location in Jungle Cruise right now.
Also, I just looked over and saw a DVD. Big Trouble in Little China. Talk about a fun adventure movie. Jack Burton. But that movie is just incredibly fun. John Carpenter, obviously, and Kurt Russell working together. God, I love that movie. I literally am glad I just looked over. That's another great fun adventure film or action. I'm not sure what
It's fine. It's enjoyable.
All right. You say shit when I'm drinking just to get a spit take out of me. I know.
That was the plan. But I saw Big Trouble in Little China for the first time this year. It's fine. I didn't enjoy it as much. I think I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd, but
what the fuck is it? Who hurt you? What? Jack Burton is awesome. How could you? David Lopan? Wang? It's all in the reflexes. Come on. Fuck the cameras. What are you doing to me?
But with that being said,
you bastard. I'm gonna fucking clip out that moment that you tried to bury with a clip. Okay? And I'm gonna post it everywhere with the hashtag cancel Malcolm. No,
but
it's
with that
fine.
being said, it's only a relatively short one today, but partly because it's short.
There's only 2 of us, so what could we do?
Exactly. I'm going to bring back the crossover game for a little bit. We're going to do some of these.
Sounds good. It is fun times.
Final
well,
Fantasy.
Who's going first? Wait.
Oh, we can go at the same time.
Well, I've never played Final Fantasy ever, so you'll have to take that one.
Final Fantasy. I mean,
have fun with that, Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, the one I can think about is it's like this is going to be a crossover that's going to become a video game series similar to Kingdom Hearts. Like you're going to get some Final Fantasy characters, and Sabrina is traveling through dimensions.
Will Salem be a playable character in this?
Yes.
Also, which version of Sabrina, or can we pick which version we want to play as?
All different versions. You can have the comic book Sabrina in there. You can have
the animated series from the 90s.
The animated series. The animated series is essentially the same Sabrina.
Is it? You mean as Melissa?
Well,
Joan Hart?
it was Melissa Joan Hart's sister, so it was still in the family in a way.
I
I mean,
might
the
be
one
talking
that
about a different animated series, perchance. I don't know.
we probably are.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up a picture of the one I'm talking about. And you can tell me if I'm crazy. Once again, I watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but I didn't really get into anything beyond that. Which, by the way, that was a fun show.
But yeah, there's nothing much to add for that crossover. Anyway, I'm going to spin the wheel again.
This is one I'm talking about. Where the fuck is that? That's the animated series I remember. Oh, Predator. Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. And what is it your mind with?
Superstore.
I've never seen Superstore, but from the advertisements, I can still do this. So, after I decided to retire from the military, I got a job as a greeter at a Superstore. And, one day I'm standing in line and, I'm sitting there and this guy comes and he's wearing the mask. And this is like pre-COVID. So, it's a little fucking weird, and it's a face covering mask. So I'm like, is this guy going to try to rob the Superstore? So I say, Al, could you take off your mask for the camera? And he takes it off, and it's the Predator. Like, I'm like, what an ugly looking motherfucker. And then the Predator gets very offended, and he calls my manager over. And he says, Al, your employee, he offended me. He said there was an ugly looking motherfucker, and my manager's Kevin's his name. Kevin was like, Dutch, what the fuck are you doing? I said, look at him. He's an ugly motherfucker. And Kevin was like, I know, but you can't just fucking say that. And so I had to apologize. But I crossed my fingers behind my back when it apologized. So I fucking won that. Oh, it was very good time. Oh. I feel like that's a good crossover.
Oh, yeah, I can't top that.
What we should start doing is we should start another wheel game to where it's just my wheel of impressions plus scenario. So like Al Pacino at the DMV. Okay, Mission Impossible. Good start. Good start.
Come on, Mamma Mia. We all know Matt loves Mamma Mia.
I fucking hope. Nah, it's Superstar. We can't do that. Honestly, I would love to take that. What we got? Arrowverse.
Mission Impossible in the Arrowverse.
Fuck, it's so easy. Okay, now look at this. I'm Ethan Hunt. Okay, so there's all this shit going on with the multiverse. Okay, the Flash, and who does he come to? He comes to the Impossible Mission Force to help him out. Me, Ethan Hunt. Okay, I help out the Flash with the multiverse. Okay, that's it right there. Motherfuckers. Boom, got that shit figured out.
I think this will be the last one. Friday the 13th. Better not be Superstore again. Oh, God.
I'll let you take this one, Malcolm.
I mean, Freddy gets thrust into this world of ponies, and then Freddy somehow gets turned into a pony and just starts going on and skewering all the other ponies with his
Look, I'm not a
machete-shaped
horror fan, but you said Freddy. That's Nightmare on Elm Street. Jason Voorhees. You bastard.
I knew what I said.
Or alternatively, so you know how in the first Friday the 13th movie,
Freddy versus Jason is set in the Friday the 13th world, so technically you can get Freddy.
yeah, but people want
lawyered.
So you know how in the first movie it's not really Jason Voorhees doing anything; it's Mrs. Voorhees. Well, let's just say instead of like in the first movie proper, the counselors were having sex when Jason drowned in the lake. What if instead you had a bunch of like bronies and My Little Pony fans, and they were watching My Little Pony? So what Mrs. Voorhees does is she goes to BronyCon and she finds all the counselors and she starts murdering them, but she's dressed as a pony, so she's like impaling them on like her her horn, because my horn can pierce the sky. That's the closest to we gotta work The Office in there as well.
I reckon I'm going to do another one in there. I know The Office is on this reel.
What do we got?
Die
Die
Hard.
Hard? Oh fuck. We're crossing over with. Oh fuck. Yes. Alright. Here we go. Alright. So John McClane and Holly McClane, because they're on good terms, again, they're a good married couple, they decide, let's go on vacation, let's go to fucking Greece. So where do they go? They go to the fucking Mamma Mia hotel. Okay, so they're there, and there's Amanda Seyfried, and there's Sam Pierce Brosnan, who is the real father, and Bill's not there because Bill's not the real father, because fuck that shit. Okay, and they're hanging out there, they have a fun, they're sipping drinks, Holly is doing karaoke, John's like, fucking Grease, man. And then one night, who should show up but none other than the second cousin of Hans Gruber and Simon Gruber, okay? And what does he do? He's not an ABBA fan, so he wants to take over this hotel. And he's going to take over this hotel, okay? And who's the only one there? It's John freaking McClane, who's going to save the day. And John's in there, he's like, come out to Greece, sing a little ABBA, have a good time. What kind of shit is this? Boom, I figured it the fuck out. No, I was excited to work John McClane into us. Also, by the way, once again, Sam is the real father. By the way, watch the Fandom podcast, which dropped yesterday about Mamma Mia.
I mean, I was
Just
going
don't
to
watch
use
it with your kids.
I mean, I was going to use it as a secret anyway.
Yeah, no, that's actually, it's a good thing you did at the end. Yes, so guys, should I just plug myself? Or?
Yeah, to
Okay.
do
So you guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, Matt Louise 611 on YouTube, and right here as host of Second Look. Episode is in the works on The Hunt for Red October. I'm not sure when the episode is going to come out because a lot of shit has been happening to me over the past 2 months that has been sort of delaying that. And the Fandom podcast is still happening. Episode was just released yesterday. Abe and myself sat down. We talked about the Mamma Mia films. It was an insane, fun, crazy time. I also have an episode which hopefully should be coming out soon. I don't reveal the topic or the guest, but it's coming. And that's kind of it. I'm also on Late Night and rank 'em sometimes. And also, I hate that I have to start saying this again, but if you enjoy my work, please follow me on Twitter. Please do not friend request me on Instagram or Facebook. Those are private pages for my friends and family. You don't know me, and guess what? You don't need to see my mom posting pictures of me when I was 4. You don't. Your life is complete without them, okay? I was just skinnier back then, and even then, I was still kind of chubby, so not much has changed. So you're fine.
Yeah, but you can find me on Tape View Productions, where I host Rankin every Saturday night. And next week's topic is going to be top 12 acting performances in the Arrowverse.
Smallville didn't win, you bastards.
And you can also find me on Late Night. And next week is going to be Star Wars. I promise this time. But that being said, this is the end of it tonight. What should I give out of today? I can't remember what the script is.
What is wrong with me today?
I asked that.